same way and expect different results. That's called insanity. If you expect things to change without changing, then you're going to be stuck in the same scenario ongoing in your life. And the pathway to more in any realm of your life requires some positive changes. If you want more health or better health, you have to change some things. If you want more financial resources, you have to change the way you're managing your money. If you want your marriage to be more fulfilling, there's some changes you have to make as a husband or a wife so that your marriage can grow. Any realm of life, including business, whatever it might be, if you're going to experience more always requires some dimension of change. I think a lot of folks don't realize how much Jesus talked about change. Jesus, in his very first message, not only the first one he gave, but the ongoing message that Jesus gave us, talked quite a bit about change. In Matthew chapter 4, in just a moment, I'm going to read you one verse that represents the first message Jesus ever preached that we have recorded. The backdrop of this message is Jesus had been baptized in the river Jordan. He'd come up out of the waters, and the Holy Spirit had fallen upon him. And it was a great moment where the Father spoke from heaven and said, "This is my Son, in whom I'm well pleased." It was a great, amazing event that transpired. And then after that, Jesus, you might recall, went into the wilderness where he was tempted for 40 days by the devil. He came out of the wilderness in the power of the Spirit, and he started his earthly ministry. What was the first message he preached? Here it is in verse 17 of Matthew chapter 4. From then on, Jesus began to tell people, turn to God and, what's the word there? Change. Turn to God and change the way you think and act, because the kingdom of heaven is near. Jesus said, now that you realize that I am present, Messiah is here, here's your responsibility. You're called to turn to God, that is, away from your own life, your own ways, and then begin to experience change in your life, changing the way you think and changing the way that you act. So we're called to make changes. In fact, when you and I refuse to change, we're actually playing God. Because Malachi chapter 3 verse 6 tells us that the Lord is the only one that never changes. He never changes, but he calls us to change in life. So change is required if you want more. When you say, I will not settle for less, I want all that God has for me. God made me for more. That requires change. Number two, the primary changes that you and I need in life are internal changes, not external changes. The primary changes in life are internal, not external. It's not to say that external changes aren't essential and important, but the primary changes are on the inside. When I have conversations with people from time to time, and they're going through problems or difficulties in life, and we talk about solutions, I'm amazed at how many times people try to solve problems that really need to be addressed from the inside with outside solutions. So if I just move to another city, this problem is going to go away. Or if I just change jobs, this problem is going to be fixed. And we often think about the externals accomplishing something that only internals can accomplish. Because when you only change the externals, you always take you with you wherever you go. And so nothing really ever changes. But when you change on the inside, life has the opportunity of blossoming, and you have the opportunity to actually changing whatever environment that you're in. When Jesus came, he didn't address so much about the externals, he addressed a lot about internals. Notice, if you will, in Mark chapter 7, this great teaching that Jesus gave us about change in our lives. He says, are you so dull? Verse 18, he asked, don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside, that's external, can defile them? For it doesn't go into their heart, but into their stomach, and then out of the body. And saying this, Jesus declared, all foods clean. He went on, what comes out of a person is what defiles them. For it is from within, it's an important statement, from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come: sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. Look at those words again. Where does all this stuff come from? Sexual immorality. It doesn't start externally, it starts internally. You compromise inside before you compromise externally. Theft, stealing from someone, that happens in your heart. Murder, the reason for murder, killing someone with your words or with your action, is hatred. Where? In your heart. All of these are inside of us. All these evils come from inside and defile a person. Inside change is what you and I need if we're going to experience more. It's not to say again that external things don't need to change, But the real changes in life begin on the inside first. Number 3, the third thing that's necessary to understand about change is that God calls for change. God's call for change always confronts our stubbornness and our resistance to change.